All right. Well, the India-EU FTA has been announced, and one of the most significant sectors that have been, of course, been impacted is, of course, the automobile sector. And one of the biggest beneficiaries is, of course, Mercedes-Benz, who, of course, plays a very critical role in India's luxury car segment. And I'm joined by the MD CEO of Mercedes-Benz India. Thank you, Santosh, for speaking to us at Business Today. First of all, please debunk the theory and the myth about the rising or the falling car prices. Do we now see car prices falling after the FTA is announced? Post ratification, will the prices fall?
So let me start on a positive note that this is a historic day for all of us. As an Indian as well as heading a European German auto manufacturer, I think it's really an historic day because this has been in the making for 16 odd years. Thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister Piyush Goyal ji as well as the European delegation, this has taken into effect. In fact, this is the world's biggest free trade zone now, and the economic impact will be significant in the coming years for India's growth. Coming to your specific question on the car prices, the answer unfortunately is no, because simply 95% of the cars, or more than 90% of the cars we make in India, which attract hardly a 16% duty. And there, if I look at the current, the biggest change has happened in the CBUs, coming down from 110 to 40. So it's still more than 16%. So there's no change in CKD prices. What I learned today is even the CKD prices would come down, the duty would come down from 16 to 8.5 or 8.25, which is welcome. But the flip side is the exchange rate. I have been saying that last year there has been a deterioration by 19% on the FX. Last week the FX has deteriorated by another 4%, and we have to continue to take the prices up. And already this year we have done a 2% price increase. Every quarter we will do the 2%. So on the contrary, the prices are only going to go up because of the exchange rate. Not to blame the government, us or anyone else, it's just beyond the control. So not a great news on the pricing side, but I think what will happen is that we can introduce models faster with some CBUs. We can test the market, we can bring some exciting cars. Even in the past we have bought the GLS Maybach, now we have localized it. So these opportunities will be better. Plus, I think as the overall economy grows, we just participate. Last 10 years, when the per capita GDP doubled, our sales doubled. And let's say in the next 10 years, if the per capita GDP will not double but even increase further, if the 10 trillion economy has to happen, then I think we will participate in that growth story. In the short term, luxury is also a sentiment-driven demand. So surely with the EU FTA today, you can see the sentiments are extremely positive, and that should also drive better consumption. So that's again a positive.
Also now, with about 50 to 55 odd cars that you manufacture in India, how much models do you currently have as CBUs? Around 5%, but how much does that translate into a number? And are there chances that Mercedes globally now can send more CBUs at a good rate? Is that a possibility? Will you be looking forward to that?
Actually, if you see our portfolio, the entire portfolio is in India. Almost, you can say almost. Leave aside one or the other AMGs, maybe most of them are in India. So, and even there is already an existing 2500 rule where you can bring any CBUs without a certification into India, up to 2500 cars a year. So we are taking advantage of that as well. So most of the portfolio is in India today. If you talk about numbers, 11 to 12 cars we locally produce, 10 to 11 cars we are in CBU mode, but that number won't increase or change. The EVs are out of the scope. Let's also remember the biggest product offensive worldwide is also coming on EVs, and they are out of scope of the current FTA. Not out of scope, but they may be taken at a later point of time, not in the next 5-6 years. You can see a real impact when it comes to EVs. So in that sense, yes, more options, maybe when it comes to combustion engines, much faster. But otherwise, there will not be a major impact when it comes to pricing.
And what all tangible sectors do you see now opening up with the India FTA? We know that since the ratification is pending, the things will take time. But what all, as a car manufacturer, what all opportunities now do you see opening up with respect to exports and imports both?
See, if you see, first of all, it has to be ratified by the European Parliament, all the member countries. So it's a long-drawn process. We were thinking 28, but today the minister, the entire delegation commit that they will try by end of 27. I think that itself takes 12 to 18 months to start. But I think the biggest benefit will be component industry, talking about automotive, because I think exchange rate, rupee devaluation is favorable for them because they are exporting to Europe a lot. They can become much more competitive. And I think one of the major agenda for the government and EU is also supply chain de-risking. and trying to integrate supply chains much more. And there, I think India can play a big role as well as the component manufacturers.
And lastly, before I let you go, I want to ask you, you were part of the meetings that were actually happening with the delegation. Any comment would you like to offer? How was the environment there, and what were the key areas that were discussed? I mean, was there a cheerful environment, and what all were the agenda topics?
You know, the biggest takeaway for me in that 2 hours in all the comments were, this is not the end. This is the beginning, because I think there are also discussing investment protection agreement. Apart, I am saying specifically apart from this, they also said that in 5 to 10 years they will look at every sector, every more opportunities. So both Europe and India are looking this as a starting point and not as an end outcome. Though 95% of the tariff lines have been liberalized, but I think there are many sectors where partnership, green energy was also one of the big highlight on what can be happen there in some of those areas. Movement of talent and human capital as well was discussed. So I think it's a very much more deeper partnership than just the tariff coming down or certain headlines changing. And I think that was a very, very strong positive statement by both sides.
And I can't let you go before asking you the outlook. How do we see the year ending now? You undertook a price hike, GST, literally did not fly off the shelf for you. What is the plan to revive those sales numbers now?
No, so I think the GST 2.0 really helped us in the last quarter a bit, because that at that point of time we could see a surge in demand. But again, we had to increase prices. That has an impact on demand. Also, when you look at the entry luxury segment, we don't see a growth in the market, but there is intense price competition, which we have decided to stay out as well. So if you look at 26 outlook, we remain moderately optimist and positive of a growth to come up with all these announcements and changes to happen. But globally uncertainties are there. The price increases that we have planned may not suffice because, as I said, 14th of Jan, when I was discussing, when we launched the exchange rate was at 105. Today it's at 109. That itself shows that if the exchange rate continues, then prices have to go further high, and then that may have an impact on demand.
Well, luxury segment, people won't worry about a 2% hike every quarter anyway, Santosh.
I wish, and then I would have passed on the entire 13% to the market.
All right, well, that was Santosh Rahi, Canada as always, speaking to Business Today on what really the India-EU FTA means and what really the deliberations were on and what all investment opportunities were they looking at. With camera person Sanjeev, this is Chetan Bhutani for Business Today.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.